Right, let's begin. Hi everyone, welcome to this webinar about CAD data management in Windchill. My name is Ruben Holsbeeks. I am active as account manager at Inoptus. Today I am joined by my technical colleague Dirk Leijten, who is a PLM consultant in the Inoptus team. And the goal of today, the goal of this webinar is to inform you all on what PDM actually is, how it is integrated, and can support CAD processes, and yeah, how it can improve collaboration and transparency within engineering teams. And our agenda is set up as follows. So first we will dive into the technology and show you some functionality and interfaces of Windchill. Windchill is our product data management solution. Next, we will provide information on how Inoptus handles this type of projects. And lastly, we will look a little bit further along the road towards PLM, which is product lifecycle management, which builds further on a PDM setup, so it's scalable, and that's important. But before I give the word to my colleague Dirk, I will give you all some information about the GoToWebinar environment where you're currently in. So as you can see, and this is the most important thing to mention, is that there is a question button at the top right corner, which unfolds a question box. And if you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to put them in the box. And at the end of the session, we will try to answer some of the questions asked. And if your question wasn't answered during the webinar, we will definitely come back to you afterwards. So I think no more introduction slides, and then I will give the word to my colleague, Dirk.
Thank you, Ruben, for this introduction. In my part of this webinar, I provide a presentation and a demonstration. And in this presentation and demonstration, we'll explain how PDM Windchill helps you with your product development, what difficulties you might face without it, and it highlights the benefits of it. I'd like to start to talk about the challenges that CAD engineers face these days. The main challenge is that products and their developments become more complex. First of all, is that products has many different parts. That can be think of mechanical parts, electronic parts, software parts, and the challenge is that all these different type of parts, often designed with different separate tools, designed from different teams, and all these parts they need to work perfectly together to one single end product, and it's not easy when they are not managed together. Second, unlike in the past, CAD engineers usually don't work for a company for their entire career anymore. They sometimes switch between companies, so new engineers have to join the company, or companies grow and you need new engineers. And when new engineer starts, and it takes time, when they start, it takes time to get them up to speed and become fully productive. And also with all these new engineers, we also need to make sure that everything is standardized. This avoids mistakes, it improves the product quality when there is standardization. Another challenge for product development is the CAD size and the complexity of it. All CAD models are getting very big and very complex. These models are even so big that you can even not open it anymore with your CAD tool. You have to create simplified versions of it, and maybe you create skeleton models, and all these type of models make it not easy to manage this without a PDM system. And last topic of this slide is globalization, and this means you might have different teams working on a design, and these teams of users they develop the data from different locations. That can be from their home office, or maybe also from different countries. And without PDM system, it's not even possible anymore to collaborate with each other. And what we also see is managing product data is typically an engineering function. They create most of the data. They are at the beginning of the process. And without effective product data management system, product designers face daily questions from other users or other people in the organization. That can be from the manufacturing, purchase of customer. You see it on the right side, all the departments on and all these questions from the other departments to this engineer stop him focusing on his main job, and that's designing new products. And yeah, I think products developing is the main job of an engineer, and this will help the company the most when you do engineering. In many companies, we see different departments, and they have all their own tools. You see on the left hand the multiple CAD systems, also other type of maybe ACAD systems, and they all have their own personal copy of files, and all store their own storage locations. And the challenge with all these different tools is that all the files are separate and not connected with each other, and these separate and disconnected files create problems in organization that engineers or designers must resolve. And once again, the engineer is distracted from their most important task, and that's designing and creating new designs. And I think all of the challenges increase the complexity and workforce on the engineer. These are also good reasons to start with PDM Windchill. First of all, what is PDM? PDM stands for Product Data Management. A PDM system is a system that helps us manage all our product-related information and files. PDM is mainly focusing on managing the data for the engineering department. Windchill is not only a PDM system, but it's actually a PLM system. PLM stands for Product Lifecycle Management, and it's a wider system that covers the entire product lifecycle from very first idea till the end of life, and also across all the departments of a company. Today we focus on the PDM part of Windchill system. PDM is in the beginning very basic and very simple to start with, but with PDM Windchill you have a platform that you can grow into and be ready for the future when you start with the PLM functionality. And on the slide, PDM helps in three main ways. First, it helps you with centralizing your product data. This means that we put all our product information in one central place. This includes things like CAD models and drawings, related documents. It manages the engineering bill of material. And second, it helps with automating processes. If you send tasks, or if you want to release something, it creates tasks in the organization. Also when we need to share information with each other, and Windchill will help with that. And third, PDM offers also full version control. This is very important. It means PDM keeps track of every version of a file, and also the reason why it's changed, and all this information is accessible for all users within Windchill. So now we know what PDM is. In the first demonstration, I want to share you a quick preview how Windchill looks like. What can PTC Windchill offer you as a PDM system? In this demo, an engineer received a task through Windchill to make a modification on a design. Windchill is a web-based application. Windchill itself is installed on a server that can be on-premise at the company or also in the cloud somewhere. We actually need only a web browser to start using Windchill. And when we start a web browser, we can create a quick link to the URL of Windchill. And when you execute that URL, you receive a login screen with a username and a password. And if you provide the right username and password, you can log into Windchill. At the first page, you see the personal page with only information for the user itself. There is a task, and in the task, there's an instruction needs to be modified, and there's a list with all the resulting objects. And to investigate, you can easily click on the item, and Windchill will browse to this assembly. You have your quick preview as thumbnail or attributes, and on the structure page you see a bill of material. On the left hand side you see the bill of material, on the right side you see a 3D visualization, and that's all connected with each other. So if you clicked on the right side on the item is highlighted on the left side, and on the other, and if you click something on the left side, it will be highlighted on the right side. So it's easily to investigate what item you need in this bill of material. And for this task, there's also an instruction what you need to modify. You can also add attachments with the instruction for that. So you can easily download this and have the information you need to modify this design. To modify design, you need a CAD application. So in this demonstration, we start Creo Parametric. And when you start Creo Parametric, you have to log in also to your Windchill session. And when you're logged in, you see exactly the same user interface than as you see in Windchill itself. And you can also browse through the task. And from here on, you can go to the resulting objects. And when you open the assembly, all the files that are needed for this assembly automatically downloaded to your workspace. You don't have to worry about all the files somewhere on a server that you need for this design. You only have to click on open, and you have your complete assembly open. And in Creo, there's also a workspace embedded with all the files now collected that are in this assembly. For this design, we need a save as of a new version of this file. So this brick we need to make a reinforced version of it. So you can easily create a save as, give it a new number, and in the name, modify the name that you can see that it is the reinforced version of it. And when you click on next, you can easily replace it at the assembly. So there's in Windchill, when you connect Creo with Windchill, there's additional functionality to do save as actions. And now it's replaced, and you have the reinforced brick, and you can modify it. So this was a quick review of what is possible when you connect Creo Parametric with Windchill. And so that brings us back to the presentation. And in this next chapter, we focus on what's the impact for the engineer when they start with PTC Windchill. We explain the impact for Creo Parametric, but most of the functionality work in the same way for integration with other third-party CAD systems, such as SolidWorks or Inventor. Later on in this presentation, I will give more information about multi-CAD systems. After that, you connect PTC Creo Parametric with Windchill. Automatically, Windchill functionality is added to your CAD system, and this functionality is listed in this slide. So when you start, you have your workspace available. I already showed you that all the files are collected that you need for your design. Also within Creo Parametric, you have your Windchill actions added. So in your ribbon menus, and when you click on an object, you have your Windchill functionality available. And Windchill also manages the relationships between these files. So as you can see, there's on this slide, there's an Creo Parametric assembly with a drawing, and these relationships are also forwarded to Windchill and available there, so you can easily create a bill of material of it. There's also bidirectional attribute communication between Creo and Windchill. So if you fill in some properties in Creo, such as a material or a treatment, Then when you save the file with the Windchill, this parameter is added to Windchill, and you can also, other users within Windchill can also take a look at this information. You can even send it later on to your ERP system. And when you have Creo parametric and connected to Windchill, you have also extended save as functionality or rename support from PDM. This make it easier to perform a save as or a rename action. So with all this integrated PDM functionality, engineers can make these changes without even leaving their favorite CAD tool user interface. A little bit more in detail, when you have your user interface, you have in the ribbon or in the menu, you have your check-in functionality or revise. You can also simple right-click on an object and see all these Windchill functionality actions. And so this keeps Creo designers focusing on the design task and not that they don't have to switch to other applications on another screen or with a different user interface. When you're connected to Windchill, you have the Windchill user interface, so that it makes sure that you don't have to worry about your CAD files. It automatically adds all your files to your workspace when you open a design. So you don't have missing files, and it's easy to see what is changed in your workspace. So you get a quick overview of your modifications. Files can be opened directly from this workspace, and you'll immediately know if you're working on outdated files. So if another engineer changed something, you will see an outdated icon in your workspace, and you know that you're working with outdated files, and maybe you want to update them so you have the latest available. Now we're going to talk about the collaboration. An important advantage of working with PDM Windchill is that you can easily collaborate with other engineers. It can be in your organization or outside your organization, and this helps a lot when you work with different locations of different companies, or maybe from your home office or of different countries. And in this slide, some common challenges faced by engineers and CAD designers are listed. And these challenges, I think most of you will find this very familiar. All these challenges. So we see a lot of challenges with managing data when you overwrite each other files, or you use outdated files. There's also also engineers store their CAD files locally, so which can cause accessibility issues. And also at unknown folder locations, you see the image on the right side, there are a lot of files with the same file name, but what is the latest and what is the active one. And there's also the status is not clear. Is it released? Is it in work? So you don't want to produce your product with not approved design data. There are also a lot of duplicated parts at many locations, and there's no revision control, so you don't know what has changed between the revisions. So these challenges will also be solved with a PDM system and PDM Windchill. With PDM Windchill, all information is managed at one central place. It's easily accessible for anyone who needs it, and anyone always have the latest version available. So in this example, you have the latest version released of this drawing with this bush here, and no matter where you are in the organization, you have always the same latest version. So Windchill is the single source of truth for CAD files and also for other documents. And when you go to the information page of an object, you see the complete history of your CAD documents, and this history shows you all the differences and all the different versions. And you find important details like the version, its current status, and who made the change, and also comments explaining what is changed and why it's changed, and also how it's approved when it's in the release state. Besides that, Windchill brings also compare tools, so you can easily compare different versions. So you can identify what is the difference between maybe version A or B in this example. And can also be done with Creo view, I'll explain later. And then you'll have a 3D side-by-side compare of it. In the previous demonstration, we showed you how you task for engineer 1 logged in as Windchill user. And this demonstration shows the collaboration with the second engineer, and he's logged in as Dirk Leijten. And they work at the same time at the same CAD assembly. And that's how he started his Creo session, logged in as Dirk Leijten. And you see here is Creo parametric with the workspace open and browse to the common space to the task. And from here, you find the instruction what the task is, what needs to be modified. So you have to update lift arm, modify the material of it, and add a library part to the top assembly. And you can also easily add this assembly to his workspace. It's an empty workspace, and you can add it to it when he clicks on open in Creo. And when it's open in Creo, you easily has all the files available. And then you want to make a modification to this object. And when you want to make a modification, the system performs a checkout, and when it's checked out, it's blocked for the other users. They cannot make modifications at the same time. And now he makes his modification, and when his modification is finished, you can save it to the workspace, and you can see that it's checked out, and the top assembly is still checked out by the other user. The second task was modifying the material. You see it all material, and in the Creo parametric session, you can easily go to your material library, select the desired material, and this material is changed in the parameters of Creo parametric. See here steel, and there's also a color attribute. After the save action, when you go to your information page of this file, you see that the attribute is updated and now available in the system. And after a check-in, it's shared with all the users within the common space within Windchill. It's important to add the comments to it when you check in the file. Then it's in the history page what is changed and why. And for the third modification, it needs to check out the top assembly, but it's still checked out by the other users. So you have to ask the other user to check in the file first. So yeah, when you want to check out this file, it's not even possible to perform the checkout because you receive a message that is already checked out. So now we go to the other engineer. Yeah, still this assembly open and checked out, and you see now that the file that we modified at the other engineer is out of date. And when this engineer wants to have the latest design, he can perform an update out of date versions, and this will download the latest version to the workspace, and and also be modified or updated in the Creo parametric session. And when you want to share this modification, so we created a reinforced brick and the assembly is checked out because the file is replaced, then you can check in the file. Maybe you want to update the reinforced again after the check-in, then you can check out and block the file for the other user. But now it's checked in and shared in the Windchill common environment. And when we switch to the other engineer, you can see that this assembly is now out of date. And to have the latest version available, you can update the out of date version. And when you click on this action, it automatically add the new reinforced brick, so you don't have to share this by email or send it in another way to it. It's easily downloaded to your workspace. And now you can check out this assembly, and when you want to add a part, it will automatically be checked out. And through Creo Parametric, you have also the ability to access. When you have a library, you can easily add your library parts to your design. And this brings us to the end of this demonstration. It highlighted how you can collaborate with each other, see what is modified, and also objects are blocked for each other, so you cannot make modifications at the same time. That brings us to the multi-CAD. Windchill has the ability to manage data from multiple CAD applications. I think there's no other PDM system as powerful as PTC Windchill for managing third-party files. It can be managed just like Creo parametric files are managed within Windchill. They have also integrated menus and action menus in your CAD tool. Windchill has multiple integrations with different applications, such as Inventor, AutoCAD, Creo, SolidWorks, CATIA NX, and many more. This helps also this kind of CAD applications manage their files in the same way as Creo parametric. And what we often see these days is that companies use more than one CAD system, and managing all these different CAD files is very difficult. And this is where Windchill helps a lot. Windchill helps managing the multiple CAD files. It doesn't matter in which CAD software it's created. You have the ability to manage them in one central place, and also combine them to a one single bill of material. You can even add third-party CAD models to your Creo session if you want to combine these models to one single product. And PTC Creo has also the ability to convert this file to the Creo, so that you can create modifications and save that back to your central PDM system. And also you can manage your neutral files within Windchill. So after you start with the PDM Windchill, you have also additional functionality available from PDM system. So it's not only managing your data, there's a lot more. All these functionality is listed here. I'm going to explain them more in detail in the next slides. First, Windchill make it easy to search on data within Windchill. It makes it very easy to find your files. On the top right, there's always a quick search toolbar where you can search on the name or number. and make no matter where your file is in Windchill, which project, you can easily find it back. And you always have the latest version available. And if you want to have the previous version, you can also browse to it or search on a revision. When you find your file, you can easily refine your results and have your right file that you need available. So you have easy search functionality, and PT Windchill also offers you the where use functionality. You often find yourself maybe wondering if there's a file used in assemblies, maybe when there is when you want to make a modification or something is or you have to deal with the obsolescence. Yeah, there's when you go to the part or assembly, you have a table with all this information available. And also PC Windchill also brings controlled product data release. There are workflows within Windchill that creates tasks so that you can easily send someone a review task, maybe give them rework, and also yeah, I have this all this release information in Windchill linked to your release, so you can easily know why it's and how it's released, and maybe why it's changed. And PTC Windchill also brings you visualization support, and this helps to distribute information to people in the organization who do not have access to CAD tools. So they don't have a Creo or another CAD tool installed on your local PC. You can easily open your visualization in Windchill itself, or download and install the Creo Lite tool. Because within Windchill you can download Creo Lite tool, and that's for viewing the 2D and 3D files. So you don't have to contact the engineer anymore, and you can open the file by yourself if you are working on a different department than the engineering department. So this will help a lot with collaboration in the organization. Windchill also support the MBD, the model-based definition. You can also view this information in the 3D model in Creo view, so it's available for all the users in the organization. On the next slide, yeah, when you start with PDM Windchill, there's also the ability to create, to start with Windchill parts, and with Windchill parts you can create an engineering bill of material. And when you have an engineering bill of material, that's yeah, when you create your design, it will be automatically created from your CAD tool. You can update this bill of material, so you can update the quantities or add additional parts, or maybe remove unwanted parts. And I'll explain in the next slide what you can do more with your Windchill parts. First is that you can create a full product definition. So I already explained you have multiple disciplines in the organization, software, hardware, and with Windchill parts you can combine all these disciplines to one bill of material, and also you can link documents to it. And on the background, Windchill part is the main item, and all other items are linked to the Windchill part. So you see here the CAD model. That's what is maybe first created in your CAD tool, but then creates the Windchill part. The drawing is linked to the Windchill part. Maybe documents, and if someone outside the engineering department search for information, they can go to the Windchill part, and they have all these drawings, 3D models or documents direct available. And this Windchill part contains also a number, a name, a version, a state, or other custom attributes defined by an organization. And PDM Windchill also brings the document management, so you can manage documents. Yeah, to make this, it doesn't matter if it is a what extension this file has. So this all sorts of formats can be managed. You can documents also has a lifecycle stage in work released, and you can work with templates. So you start with a template, and what also Windchill also brings an add-in for your Office application. You see here on top the Office integration for Word. So you can easily go to your Word application and do your Windchill management within the Office application. And when you manage your documents in Windchill, you can also search on the documents, on the number, on the name of attributes. And Windchill has also the ability to index your documents and search on terms on your in your document. So before we wrap up, this video gives a quick view of this functionality. There's many more, but I cannot show everything in this webinar. For detailed demonstration, please do not hesitate to contact us. We start in this demonstration with an example of how you create a promotion request to release something. So this is maybe not an engineer, but you can always use the web browser. And if you go to a part, you can add information for the review. And these are the objects you want to release. So you can also add a lot more to it. And simply select the approver in this list. And after you click on finish, a request is automatically sent to the selected people. And the objects that are in this promotion request are in the review and logged for modifications. So we selected the Windchill user, and he received a task at this home page to approve this promotion request. And in this promotion request, there's an instruction. So you review the promotion objects and add comments. And at the promotion objects, you have all your objects that needs to be released. You can easily investigate this. You can go to the related objects. Maybe there was also a document that is connected. And if you want to take a look at this document, you can easily open this in your Creo view session. So this is the view where you can view PDFs of the document. And if you agree on this release, you can add some comments and complete the task. And then the state is changed to the release state. And when the product is not released, it's not accessible by other departments. But maybe when it is released, purchase can order it, or production can start. Before Windchill, someone in the production or procurement department have to call the engineer for information. And when you want to have a measurement or something, you can now search on the number with the Windchill. And when you find the object, you can easily click on the object and find information of this object and maybe investigate the attributes. Or when you want to go to the 3D model, you can open it in Creo view. And in Creo view, you can create markups, but also you can create measurements. And when you want to have this measure, and you have this dimension, and then you know exactly what, then you have exactly what you need, and you don't have to call the engineer, and the engineer can still work on his design. So this was a quick overview of additional functionality when you start with PDM Windchill. PDM Windchill contains the in PDM Windchill you have the embedded functionality. You can collaborate. You can collaborate with each other. There's rename or save as functionality. There's also a version and revision management. You can check in, check out the files to block them from modification from other users. You have a multi-CAD support within Windchill. And when you start with PDM Windchill, you have other functionalities such as the easy search functionality, where you use the information of an object, controlled product data released. There's visualization support, and you can create bill of materials. And last but not least, the ability to manage your documents within Windchill. This ends my part of this demonstration. I will give the word back to Ruben to explain more about Inoptus PDM industry standard and easy and quick implementation of it.
All right. Thank you, Dirk, for the technology deep dive and the explanation. So next to this explanation, we also wanted to give you a sneak peek on how Inoptus handles these types of PDM implementations. Maybe you already started wondering. But for this type of implementation, we always follow the plan, build, validate approach. What does this mean? This means that we plan or define together how the Windchill solution should look like. Inoptus then will build the solution, and of course, the customer will be the one in charge of the validation. And if the validation is good, perfect, we can prepare the deployment and the go live. If not, we replan, rebuild, revalidate, and we follow this approach. We don't start from scratch. That's good to know, since we have a lot of experience in the PDM, PLM, Windchill industry. We provide an Inoptus industry standard, which you can see as a 95% predefined configuration. And this is based on our experience and best practice in the industry. And then together we can work towards a small piece of custom configuration, but this is limited most of the time, such that we can fully focus on the customer adoption, which is, in my opinion, the most important part. So with this PDM industry standard, you can immediately benefit from the core PDM functionalities, which Dirk already explained, and it's listed here. So the MCAD data management, visualization, document management, to name a few. Then again, what timeline are we planning this project? Can be interesting. In the preparation phase, there are 4 phases defined. In the preparations phase, we will start planning the project. This is based, of course, on the availability of the customer resources, but also the Inoptus resources. And then we have a kickoff meeting to actually launch the project. Following the kickoff, we will install the Windchill environment and start defining how the configuration or the solution should look like for you. So this is the plan step, which I explained previously. And then once defined, we will go to deployment of the solution and validation of the customer. And the project in the end will end with some user training and mentoring in the first days after go live. So to name a few characteristics of our Inoptus approach, it's an out-of-the-box PDM solution, but it's scalable, and that's very important. You can grow your PDM or PLM solution as your company grows. The project itself is no rocket science; it's manageable, with also a fast go live date, as you can say it like that. We have a lot of PDM implementation already done. So that's also the reason why we can deploy this type of industry standards. And our approach is really to focus on the mentoring and the training. We think the adoption of the end user is really important to start working with this type of solution software, and to also get the knowledge yourself. So that's it for the approach on how to do this type of PDM implementation. So I hope that we were able to bring you some information about PDM functionality. But important to know is that if you want to evolve further in maybe 1, 2, or 3 years, that this is possible. So I already mentioned that the solution is very scalable towards your company needs. So there is no need to reinstall or to restart from scratch. You can really build built on your PDM foundation layer by layer. And I'll quickly explain it to you in which directions rather you can grow. So in the center, you see your product structure, your product definition, and this is actually what you're working on in a PDM environment. So your data is centralized, it's traceable in versions and releases and so on. But when you move towards a PLM solution, there are some other interesting technology domains in which you can grow, and some of them are listed here below. So if your multi-CAD data management, where you can link more than only MCAD data to your product structure. So think about all type of documents, test reports, data sheets, your ACAD, electrical CAD information, software iterations, simulations. You can probably name more than I do. You have a BOM transformation aspect in which you can grow, where you can convert one type of bill of materials, like an engineering BOM, into another. For example, manufacturing BOM or service BOM are used a lot. And this way you can support different life cycle phases of your product and provide complete information towards the manufacturing and the service team. Next, you also have part specification. This is a strong search functionality to find specific parts based on specific part characteristics. We call them attributes during this webinar. You have global product development and project management. This is the collaboration with geographically diversified teams. You can work together on the same project and potentially use project management functionality, in which you can define project teams, tasks, milestones, and so on. You have the component supplier management, where you can manage in your Windchill your preferred suppliers for specific parts in specific regions. I can imagine that maybe you produce something in China or produce something in the USA. I guess the suppliers will be different. So this gives you also the chance to monitor lead times, availability, and have a structured plan A and plan B per article. When you go further into manufacturing, in the manufacturing domain, you can translate your manufacturing bill of materials, which you have created, into process plans, which are work instructions for your manufacturing team. And also with this, Windchill provides a visualization of your product, which makes it also easier to comprehend. And then, almost lastly, you have the platform structures, the family tool of Windchill, where you can handle different variations and configurations of your product to move from engineering to order to configure to order, but while maintaining your flexibility towards your consumer. So you can really mix and match different types of articles, variations, and so on to create the ideal match for your consumer. And in the end, you have the quality module, which is in our experience a very specific module, but is really focusing on the FMEA, which is the failure mode and effects analysis. So this is a short summary of which domains you can grow into. A typical roadmap of Windchill looks as follows, where you really start in all types of roadmaps with the PDM. So PDM is your phase 0 and phase 1 to create a platform and get the basic functionality. And then in phase 2, 3, and 4, you can grow into different ways, but this really is based on the customer priorities. But you can go towards configure to order, you can go towards ACAD data management integration, manufacturing improvements, or service improvements. It depends on your priorities. But then again, I will repeat my sentence. The foundation of this is always the PDM implementation, the PDM setup industry standards. So to give you an idea how we can translate this CAD PDM setup into an evolving roadmap, which we call a digital thread, I can give you an example of a digital thread that customers can use. So first, you start building qualitative and maybe configurable CAD models. Next, you start managing them in a PDM PLM environment where you can generate your engineering bill of materials, and you have, of course, your visualization. So this is actually where you end after a PDM implementation. When you want to go for a PDM setup, this is your finish line. But then if you build further, you can start, for example, transforming your engineering BOM towards a manufacturing or service BOM to provide the complete and relevant information to both manufacturing and service team. And once you have a complete and qualitative manufacturing BOM, you can work towards process planning and also provide work instructions to the manufacturing team. And this can be done paperless as well, so you're digital in this way. But also the service team can be attached to the digital thread example, where they have, of course, the service BOM and see relevant service and spare parts information. And finally, if you go the extra mile, you can have an efficient and digital user interface for your service, manufacturing, and maybe other teams. And you can go completely paperless, and then you can use role-based applications mainly for visualization of your product data. And that ends the three agenda points. I will now quickly look towards the questions asked in the GoToWebinar environment. So a question that I see here is, and I will maybe ask this to Dirk, how do you deal with legacy data which was not yet in a Windchill application?
That's a good question. For helping companies define the right approach, putting this legacy data in Windchill, we arrange workshop sessions in the implementation project. So when we start the implementation, we define different workshops, and one of them is the workshop for importing this legacy data to Windchill. And in this workshop, we define the right approach to add this data with the Windchill. So yeah, that depends on different things. So maybe the quality of your data, if only an import of the legacy of the latest version is sufficient, and so on. So a lot of questions are asked during this workshop, and after this workshop, loading the legacy data is typically done by the company itself, but we can help you with this to support you with importing this legacy data into your Windchill system.
All right. And I check for another question. How long does it take for a full PDM implementation?
I will answer this question. That's depending if everything is arranged, so all the resources such as hardware, but typically can be done within 3 months. Often it's also depending on the availability of the key users of the customer itself. But full availability of these key users, we can do this in 3 months.
All right, good to know. I also see a very technical question, but we will come back to that after the webinar. And then before ending, I will quickly launch a poll for the attendees, and then we will wrap up this webinar. Thank you all for joining. If you're interested or want to get more information, feel free to reach out, and we will be in touch.